Hey guys, OGalbina here, bringing you guys another Draft League Twitter discussion. Today, we're going to be kind of talking about the unsung heroes of Draft League. The question is, which Mons do you see as the unsung heroes of Draft League? Mons that might not get the most kills, or even any at all, but offer irreplaceable value to their team's success. Think of the Tinglus of the format. Comment below. So yeah, Tinglu is kind of like my example that I give. I'm playing a Showdown League right now, where I haven't uploaded yet. It's like a league that Keegan's running for fun out of his Discord server. That'll probably be a movie eventually because I'm doing really well in it. Partly due to Mons like Tinglu, right? Those really solid support pieces that never really show up on the stat sheet at the end of the season. They might have, a completely negative record, right? 0-7, but they're so good that they're worth that round 2 pickup that you ended up getting them just because of the support that they offer to the team. I think there's a lot of Mons like this in the format that don't get enough love, so I kind of wanted to talk about some of them today. The Unsung Heroes Draft League, the cardio Mons, the guys that are there to do some work, play some defense, and let your star players shine and, facilitate them well. So if you guys do enjoy today's Draft League Twitter discussion, be sure to drop a like on the video as well as subscribe to the channel. We do plenty of Draft League content like this each and every week. If you guys have any ideas for more Twitter discussions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to do some more. As summer kind of hits and the school semester for me kind of, ramps down, I plan on uploading more, and this is a great way of getting more content out to you guys. So let me know if you have some more ideas and things of the sort. And yeah, with that being said, we can kind of jump right into it. First up, we have D-Ray here saying, for me, I'd have to give a special shout out to Kanto Muck. Awesome defensive typing really dampers strong fairy and fighting types that are typically designated as the main offensive pieces in Gen 9. Solid stats, awesome support tools, knock and T-spikes, plus great coverage and drain punch gives Muck a legit reason to come to many games for a Mon that is typically 5 points or less. Yeah, I've seen a big come up in Muck this generation. Mostly as like, you're getting like at the start of the generation, it was going for like 2-3 points. It's been bumped up to around that 5 mark. It's one of the best like cheap Valiant checks that you can get in the game, like at all. But beyond that, you can go really spadef sets and check a lot of big, especially offensive threats. Assault Vest is okay, pretty good. Poison Touch and Knock and, things of the sort. Make it a really, really solid, like, low tier support and defensive piece. It's kind of like a flex option. Maybe not coming to every game like something like a Tinglu that we were talking about, but I really do think that it is a solid kind of low tier poison and fairy check. So yeah, I'm definitely here for Muck. That's a good shout out from D-Ray. Next up, we have JB here saying, shout out to Overcoat. That does so much that doesn't show up, but can always pop off in the right matchups. Yeah, there's a little bit more room for Overcoat to pop up offensively with say a Rain team. Rain isn't super common in Generation 9, so that's, a point against that. But even like Sword Dance Intimidate sets, Sword Dance Agility, all really solid, but really where Overcoat shines is as a spiker. It is so good with that defensive Titan that has one weakness in Poison Dark, just ground, and then on top of that, having Intimidate and Spikes. Really, really solid Pokemon. I love it with the Citrus. I love it with a Rocky Helmet. I think it's one of the best Rocky Helmet guys in the game. And has some pretty considerable and crazy bulk on top of a pretty great speed tier to allow it to taunt some other support pieces. Overall, just a great Mon. There's really usually a good set in every single matchup. I'm definitely a big Overcoat guy. We actually just recently drafted it for Smokeon's Ghosting Tour. And I know J-Bear's been popping off within BBR, so I'm here for it. Next up, we have Lars here saying Goodra, Hisui, and regular Goodra. Do you need to check anything special? Goodra. Great move pools, good stats, and not pricey most of the time. I would agree with Goodra, Hisui. Not so much Goodra. I think the added steel type makes Goodra, Hisui actually very draftable in 9 to 11 Mon scenes. I think it's very hard to draft it in the tournament scene and 8 Mon type stuff because it's a steel type that can't rock. The steel type that doesn't resist fairy. But I think if you can kind of grab fairy resist otherwise, grab other rockers, it's definitely a lot better. Next up, we have CB Marcus here saying, in Natdex's Alamola, 0 kills in 1,000 games, but it's the pivot to stop opposing offense and get yours going. Now, you guys know, I'm not the biggest Aloe guy. Or you think I'm not the biggest Aloe guy. In all reality, I do think it's an incredible piece when it is priced aptly and correctly. I really do think it's incredibly solid. Regen pivot, flip turn out. I think when people struggle with Aloes when they try and wish pass with it, really just come in, scald once maybe, but flip turn out and out and out. Next up, we have Scoothawk here saying, Clef damn near does your taxes for you, which is really funny. I'm here for that. I've actually seen a big, I wouldn't say a big come up of Clef, but my opinion on Gen 9 Clef has changed. I think in Gen 6, 7, and 8, this is the answer for this question, right? Doesn't always show up in the stat sheet. Maybe you'll have a Calm Mind game once in a while, but it does its job. In Gen 9, power creep has kind of gotten to it a little bit in the sense of like the offense is just more offense-y, it can just kill you dead. But we saw L5 use it really, really well in this upcoming, our most recent BBR season. Again, maybe a little bit tough on 8mon, but in, what do you call it, like 9 to 11, I think it's a really solid piece. I think like using it as like rocks, Moonblast, recovery, healing wish is probably gonna be your best bet most of the time. Maybe you can flex in like a Thunder Wave in one of those slots, but kind of using that healing wish tool that it has, I think is really, really solid for it. So yeah. Next up, we have Basher saying, obviously a bit team dependent, but for me, it's usually something that alleviates myself on the builder. Tinglu is a good example that soft checks a lot of mons. For me, Scizor has always been one I've loved because of how reliable it is as a revenge killer, which eases prep a lot. So Tinglu is the main one there. Scizor, I see what you're saying, but it's kind of like not the idea of the question here. Tinglu definitely is, like having that soft blanket check to like 90% of the game is so good. I have that Tinglu Petron Corn, that Keegan League that I was talking about, and it is so freeing in the builder because I can slap those two on a build. I have like a Mesprit flex slot for a defensive, another defensive piece, and like healing wish, and then from there it is offense, and it makes building more offensive sequences so nice when you know how you have two defensive backbones or one or two defensive backbones that will check whatever they need to check and make it to where you're not in a bad spot. So I'm definitely big on that. And so we have A12 here saying Iron Treads is for the big budget ones. Rocks plus spin plus amazing resist profile. I'm here for that. I actually super agree. Typically, like there's like a matchup every once in a while where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't switch into Iron Treads. What do I do? But for the most part, it's here to knock, spin, EQ, volt out, kind of pivot in, take a hit, get out of there. Really, really solid piece there. And then, of course, we have to have some jump buff. I mean, I guess if you're spending 1 point, it's really not that bad. Screen's Tailwind, Sleep Powder, Encore, and Lead Seed. Name a utility move, jump buff has it. It's definitely okay in that regard. It's just so frail, and it's not like fast. Like 110 is fast, but it's not like fast, But I'm here for it. Until we have Zeke here saying Serena for me. I've always kind of been a big Serena hater despite always drafting it, but I have it in my most recent seasonal run, which will also be uploaded on the channel eventually. And it has been surprising me, not in like this like, oh no, I need like kind of a defensive piece, more so using it offensively. So I don't know if I agree with it in the context of this question, but I have been maybe shaping up to my Serena kind of opinions, which usually were pretty low before this, but yeah. Next up, we have L5 saying Keldo. Not quite the answer to the question we were asking, but, shouts to Keldo. Next up, we have Josh here saying, D'Ancy, hello, D'Ancy is Jesus and you can't change my mind. Also, you smell. Hi, YouTube. Bye. What a beautiful appearance from the Josh, aka Ultra Player. Making a quick little stop in on YouTube once again. But, yeah, I definitely agree on Dia. I mean, I think getting spikes and Encore was so good for its profile. Funny Trick Room guy, it actually does have like offensive sets it can run, but really most of the time I feel like you should be running a Hazard, Encore, and then 2 attacks, and you're probably going to be in a good spot. I'm definitely a really big DIZ guy. I like it as a low tier Terra option too. It's like a more defensive piece because the bulk is just so nice, and changing the defense like resist profile can be really nice. Like bulky Terra water sets are like really annoying. So yeah. Next up we have J Ricky here saying I am chronically addicted to Mesprit. And same what it offers to a team. Screens, Healing Wish, T-Wave, Encore, and Ground Immunity. With the amount of good steals that don't get Roxygen, I always end up getting it. Even the offensive sets are pretty nice if you can afford to Terra. Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement on this. I think this is actually a great example of this. Mesprit and Uxie are like 2 guys that I'm really big on. I like Mesprit a lot for Healing Wish. I love Healing Wish. This is my favorite move in Generation 9. Being able to leverage a second life on one of your big offensive breakers is so unbelievably great, and Mesprit is so good at it. Fast Encore is great. This is kind of like the third piece to that defensive core of Tinglu Petron that I really enjoy. It being ground immune is also really nice. Again, so much roll compression in a mon that's incredible. And again, not the strongest Pokemon offer it, but again, we can call them on with Nasty Blot. But also the coverage that it gets allows it to really soft check a lot because it's hitting them super effectively and decently hard with 105 special attack. So yeah, I'm here for Mesprit. I'm a big Mesprit guy. And next up we have Soul Blaze here saying Bronzong Gang. The ultimate green team Sheepmon, the ultimate exception, the great equalizer, all offenses second guess, all options reduced to mediocrity. I was a big Bronzong guy in Passions. I think losing Toxic makes it kind of bad in my mind. But it is definitely has a really, really solid like resist profile, being immune to ground, or getting heat proof to be neutral to fire and still that. Very reliable rocker, good fairy check. So if your team needs that and you're okay with like kind of playing along with the passivity, that's fine. It also has like a 60% chance to just ruin them on with hypnosis, which is always funny. And so we have Shuckle saying Aloe. Big shouts to Aloe. I know people are gonna be so surprised, but hey, big shouts to Aloe. Then we have Shark Plays, Aloe, Scizor, Iron Treads, and Aloe again. But yeah, I think these are all fair answers. I think Scizor kind of is not really what we're talking about in this regard, or it's more so like strong defensive pivot, like strong offensive pivot, I guess, right? Can resist a lot, come in, you turn and bullet punch and do a lot of damage. But yeah, the other ones I think are definitely fair. Next up, we have Wicket here saying Tinkaton can reliably get up rocks every time, every game it comes to, using its typing and spit up to check any special attacker and knock Encore T-Wave to force it to swap or slow it down. Pickpocket can be a very powerful ability in draft, especially playing around it. Yeah, I 100% agree. And you see Ellie here says it next. Same thing with Tinkaton. Went 0-9 with it, but it's the reason I won so many games. Hazard Encore Screens, great mon. Yeah, 100%. Not a Pokemon that, and it's funny because it has the big, strong move, but it's not the strongest Pokemon in the world, and everybody was really, really down on it when it first came out. But I'm a big Tinkaton believer. I think outside of Healing Wish, Encore is the best move in the game in this generation. Knock and T-Wave, making it always a nuisance to switch into, because not a lot of things that are immune to T-Wave really want to switch into Tinkaton. So it's always a really, really annoying mon to pivot around. And Pickpocket is definitely great, right? So like we're in the Meowscarada matchup and we know we're going to get knocked off. We give it a helmet, knocked off, steal something else's item. That's great value. Even if that's all it does that game, great value. And then if we throw on getting on rocks, or getting up rocks, heck yeah. Next up we have Toastgover saying all hail the bulky pivots. In general, so true. So true. Next up we have Sadawuda saying Glamore never popped off for me, skill issue, but it came to nearly every game and always did what it needed to, whether it's hazards, removal, necessary chip, spread status, or just click some sludge waves. Low tier Miltank and Gligar have filled necessary holes. Yeah, I think I don't think that's a skill issue, right? If it came and it did its job, if its job wasn't to do something offensively, but it did what it was supposed to, I think that's so fair. I think that's super, super fair. Has those like Meteor Beam matchups and things like that, but if it was there to get up hazard, and especially if you were able to find positions to spin with Glim, you did your thing. I don't think that's a skill issue. Next up we have Joe here saying Galarian Weezing. Its typing abilities that check so many things and has so much utility with Move Pool. Yeah, I'm big on both Weezings. I wasn't as big on Galarian Weezing before, but I think in general in this gem where like offensive fightings and darks are like the top of the metagame right now, having something that checks both of them in one Pokemon that's pretty cheap, really, really solid. Really solid abilities in neutralizing gas and levitate, letting it check grounds as well as just turning off abilities, which is really, really nice. So I'm definitely here for it. I agree on Galarian Weezing. I'm a big Weezing guy too, like just regular Weezing. It was on our BBL championship team actually, so yeah. Next up we have Didi here saying mascot picture of the unsung heroes of having fun. True. Shoutouts to Salamence, my goat. Now, I have a good mascot, so some people have shitty ones where they have to like Amel. Shouts to Amel and his Ice Cube mascot. I know he loves that guy, and he's raw with him. Me? No. But yeah, I got a little lucky in the mascot department. Next up, we have Moggy VDC here saying Grimmsnarl, probably. Yeah, I think Grimmsnarl is a fair one. I'm not big on Grimmsnarl myself, but having the Prankster Screens option, the Prankster T-Wave option, parting shotting around, it's never going to get big numbers on the board, but it's always going to cause a nuisance and disrupt your opponent's game plan. And I think that's always going to be very valuable. In BBL Finals, actually, when we played John Jr., Grimmsnarl was one of the most annoying Pokemon on paper that we had to deal with at all. So, yeah, I'm definitely here for it. Next up, a great answer. Klefki is one I always like to cook with here and there. Spike Stack, T-Wave, Screens, and even Iron Defense Calm Mindsets. Another one I love is Tapu Fini. I've only used it a few times, but every time Fini surprises me with how much it can do, even with no recovery. Yeah, for sure. I think both of them are fair. I think Fini pulls off those like Calm Mindsets a little bit better than Klefki can on a consistent basis, but for the most part, they're going to be defensive. They're going to, disrupt with hazards and screens in the way of Klefki, as well as T-Wave. And Fini's going to support the team in stopping dragons, preventing your team from getting status for a little bit, which can be really nice on super bulky balance teams, knocking off items, Nature's Madnessing, taunting fat things as like Stall Breaker Fini. Love Stall Breaker Fini, by the way. Great set. So, yeah, good one. Next up, We have mid-tier. I'm a big fan of bulky regen mon like the Slow Kings, but Mole gets my vote. Treads also for its typing and roll compression. There you go. On lower tier, I really love Prankster. Utility roll. Sableye my go. Priority status, Weather Center, Prio Encore, and Taunt, Screens, and Recovery. Yeah, big Sableye guy. Another BBL champion that's like a low tier utility guy. Does not come often, but when it comes, he lets you know. I mean, this guy is really, really solid. I'm a big Sableye guy. I think the move Encore is so good when you always go first with it. It really, really pressures your opponent into uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable spots. So, yeah, I'm definitely big on Sableye. I think it came to one game last season in BBL, and it did its job. There's a couple games where it came like in mocks. I think in semifinals against Jason or quarterfinals. Yeah, quarterfinals against Jason, I almost brought it. And actually, if I ended up bringing it, it would have been incredible. So, yeah, great. Next up is Zethor here saying most steals really, but Tinkaton in particular stands out. Talked about Tinkaton in length. I definitely agree. I think Tinkaton's GOAT. Naomi here saying lower tier support mons that are difficult to remove. Think Dedenne and Natdex formats which give a cheap pelt, recycle, and citrus berry while using Nuzzle and Super Fang. I can see I don't have too much data on Dedenne's bag. I can't lie to you. Don't have too much data on that. Maybe it is the truth. I could see the typing being really good, right? Electric Fairy is always just going to be a very solid typing defensive profile resist-wise. And annoying moves in Nuzzle and Super Fang, so maybe. And Volt Out, obviously, so that's cool. Yeah. Kind of like what Pachirisu used to do in Gen 7 draft every once in a while. Next up is JMG saying Treads for sure. All the utility brings with the great typing is invaluable, but he can be offensive as well. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely big for that. Here's a big one that I'm surprised nobody said yet. Swampert doesn't get enough love. One of the best mid-tier grounds since it can beat other grounds with stab. Momentum is so good in it, and it puts it above other water grounds that get extra hazards. Has a good resist profile, great support movable, and decent attack. Yeah, I mean the greatest pivot in the game, man. Give that guy regen, and he might be the most broken Pokemon of all time. I am a big Swampert stan. Come in, you flip turn out, you burn things with Scald and old gens, things like that. You could talk to them. I think the big thing this gen is it actually got access to knockoff, which I really love for Swampert. I love the fact that it got knockoff. But yeah, really you just kind of come in, flip turn, pivot around. Get up rocks very reliably. Great pivot. Next up, we have Roar of Gumi here saying Zapdos the GOAT. The LeBron James draft league. I think Zapdos can definitely put more on the board just as a product that's sticking around and picking things off as teams don't want to switch into it. But in general, I see the idea. I'm here for it. But yeah. Next up, we have Crooked here saying Kilowatch on Terraform. So Mon is such a nice feature alongside having competitive to punish defog into ripping a Volt Switch or Terra Boss Fly is so strong. No wonder Uzi was spamming this guy. I mean, yeah, for sure. I think it's a very good mon, but it's not quite the question here, right? We don't want the stat guys, right? Kilo is a great stat guy. Low tier Terra, if we're allowed to, Terra or Kilo, I think it's a great pick. But it's picking up KOs. It's not quite where we're at. Two more. We have Biff the Banana here saying, honestly, for me, it's got to be Sableye. Seen it mentioned a couple times, but the little gem goblin gets too much support for so cheap, especially in Nat decks where it has a full swath of options. Nearly any status, weather screens, trick room, tricking items, it's good. I forgot about the idea that it could trick as well. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a big Sableye guy. Love me some Sableye. I think it's a great mon. And then finally, a good one here in Screentail and Clefable from Seahawks. Both provide a ton of value outside of kills. They both have fantastic utilities such as hazard, screen, status, and distribution. Yeah, I definitely agree. We talked about Clef a little bit, but I'm a big Screentail guy as well. Again, really fast Encore. Worst case, boost your speed Encore. T-Wave can set up if you really need it to, but it sets up rocks. Again, it's just kind of the ultimate utility mon. Really solid, really weak, but really fast and really bulky, which can always be nice. And it's not passive because of that, right? While we might not be doing a lot of damage, we can always stun lock guys with Encore. We can always T-Wave guys. We can always be a big nuisance, so we're not getting super taken advantage of with our Screentail very often if we're playing well and oftenly and bringing the right sets. But yeah, that's going to be the video. Short one, a little bit shorter of a thread, but I thought it was a fun one to talk about. I think this is inspired by Draymond Green winning a Hustle Award in the NBA, which I think was really funny. It was you might not show up in the stat line. They're basically you suck, buddy. But I thought we could at least equate it to Draft League in the sense of these Tinglu guys. One that I didn't see mentioned at all was Rotom Wash, especially in old gens. I mean, you never saw Rotom Wash really pick up many kills, especially in old gens. But now, but even then, it was an incredible pivot. Come in, Volt Out, get in the offense. Come in, Volt Out, get in the offense. Come in, Volt Out, get in the offense. That simple. Good Scarfer, solid mon. So that was kind of the idea here. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, drop a like. Drop a sub if you are new. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.